Yes, we're back with another rider, another episode. Today we have Jeremy in the car with his lovely mother all the way from Austria. Excuse it if there's some coughing at times because Mum says she's choking a bit, but I'm sure she'll be able to give us some input. So nice to have you here today, ladies and gentlemen.
Great to be here.
So, I normally ask what was you like when you were at school, but I think I will ask your mum. What was Jeremy like when he was at school?
Oh gosh.
Oh, he was a right old footballer, doing a lot of sport and being generally annoying.
Thanks, Mum.
In the teenage years, anyway.
Okay,
I like to think I was a model child, but you know.
okay.
I don't think there is such a thing, is there?
What would you say you were like then, Jeremy?
What was I like in school? My mum's correct, I was very athletic, did a lot of sports, but I was also quite a bright kid, but then not particularly interested in pursuing academia throughout my secondary school years. So
He bummed around.
I bummed around a little bit. I was very cheeky, and I probably underachieved a little bit, to be honest.
Are you an only child?
I am, yes.
Okay, so your
Does that
mother's
explain
Jem.
much?
Yeah, well, no judgment here, no judgment. So, so when you left school, what did you go to? College, uni?
So I left school, I went to college. I failed 2 years of college, and then I left college to do a year of work in quality assurance,
What did you study in college?
business, IT, and psychology. Or rather, what didn't I study?
Oh, okay.
But then after failing 2 years of college and working for a year, I then went back to college to do a BTEC in business once I decided I was going to straighten my life out. And then went to...
But I want to interject here. But I wasn't asked whether I would keep him further for those 2 years. He
Okay.
just assumed I was going to keep him.
But you are, speaking as a parent and a grandparent, it's part. I always see it's part of parenthood.
Yes,
You
it
know
is.
that you always prodigal son and all of that. You know, I don't know if you know your good book. What did you think he was going to be, Mum?
Well, he told me, I think when he was 15 or 16, when I was banging on about uni, he was saying, wouldn't you just be happy if I were a petrol pump attendant?
Okay.
And my answer to that was, yes, I'd be really happy if you had a lot of qualifications under your belt and that was your choice.
For the
Okay.
record, I don't recall that.
Oh yeah, funny
I
that.
can neither confirm or
I
deny.
can neither confirm nor
No,
deny.
because I said to him, at least you will have the choice of, you know, a career or just be a petrol pump attendant. But you don't get the choice if you don't have the qualifications.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So you went from college into you went back to uni to do the course again, Jeremy?
No, I went to college. So I went to college, failed 2 years of college, worked for a year, then went back to college for another 2 years to do BSEC in business. Then went to university to do a degree in business at Manchester University, and came out with a 2-1. So I managed to get my life back on track.
Oh, 2-1, that's good. I got a 2-2. So how did you find, because you own a company now,
Mm-hmm.
nutrition company, what's the name?
NGX,
NGX. Okay, what's the acronym for?
Nutri Genetics. We personalise nutrition to your DNA.
Oh, that is very fascinating. Oh, it is.
First in the world, wasn't it?
World first, yeah. We invented the product, high protein meal replacement shake, that is personalised to your needs. We look at a panel of different genes that relate to how well your body processes, absorbs, metabolizes, transports different nutrients, and where we find that your body, or you have genetic variations that reduce your ability to absorb, process, metabolize, etc. any one nutrient. So for example, vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, we then increase those nutrients in your product so that you have something that works better for you. So instead of having a one-size-fits-all high-protein meal replacement shake for building muscle or losing weight, we have something that's actually got a personalised nutrition profile that's more geared to your specific needs as an individual, which then helps people get better results than they would otherwise.
Just so we get this clear, hold the mic close to your mouth.
Closer to my mouth.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is really interesting. What I was going to ask you is this DNA thing, what's it called? How's it called?
Nutri genetics.
Yeah.
Nutri genetics is the science.
It's the science.
That's been around since 2003 and completion of the Human Genome Project. NGX is the brand, where we just simplify it.
Okay. So, is this based on race, or is it based on where your ancestors come from for the last 100 years, or?
It's not an ancestry-based evaluation per se. It's simply based on quite a large number of scientific studies that have looked at cross-section of populations, which typically are Caucasian or European-based populations, because that's where most of the data is studied.
Yeah.
And looking at the specific genetic variants for those individuals. So it's not based so much on where you're from as such, but your genetic variants will have been influenced by where you've come from over the years. So for example, if you look at evolutionary biology, if you had a heritage or a history growing up, 1,000 years ago, population near the coast, you would have consumed a high fish diet by living near the coast. Most people typically have a higher need for omega-3 and fish oils in their diet than, say, somebody who grew up inland away from the coast and had a predominantly meat-based diet, for example.
No, I understand that. So I used to live in Kenya, and what I noticed, the people on the coast who live on fish, they're not as big and as strong as the people who live inland, who live on like maize. They'd have fish, but they'd also have maize. And there's some other, like the Maasais, who would have blood and milk, or they occasionally kill one of their cows, but the cows are worth money.
Yeah.
In that respect, but you can see the different sizes. Some people are like, you've got warrior builds, and you've got like the slim fishermen, and then you've got the Maasai where they're strong, but they're all their bodies elongated, like long loins, and all of those things. Yeah, it depends on terrain, and stuff. But yeah, that's interesting. So what gave you the idea to start this company?
Well, I have a couple of co-founders, and the original idea came from actually one of my co-founders, Alex, who was going through some personal troubles, had a death in the family, and he, long story short, had to go see a counsellor, help get his life back on track. She recommended that he consume better nutrition for his body and focus on his fitness. And having done a DNA test, he was following a personalised meal plan, creating these meals from scratch every day, but it was incredibly inconvenient and expensive, and wanted something a bit more convenient. And so he set about finding a way to create a shake that would be a really simple way of taking all this knowledge and insight you get from what are quite complicated DNA tests and packaging it up into a simple, digestible, twice daily shake that you can take. And so he spent about £10,000 on this shake just to get it created to begin with. They're very expensive, which is why these things weren't available in the market. I have known Alex for 15 years and had a ringside seat to all of this. We always talked about going into business together. After he tried it, found great results. I then had a shake created for me as well to test the theory and see for myself. I have a lot of background and a lot of history in taking protein-based supplements and replacements, etc. And very much noticed a disproportionate benefit from other products that I'd taken in the past. And it had been a massive help to Alex and getting him back on track and getting him through his tough times, and just helping him improve his nutrition, which is obviously fundamental really to our daily lives. And we then set about finding a way we could actually make it a commercially viable thing, so that we could reduce the cost, so people didn't have to spend £10,000 on a shake to get their own personalised one.
Oh, so wait, it cost 10,000 to make it?
The first time we did it to test the pilot.
What, you got like 2 tubs or something?
Well, you have to bulk buy a lot of the ingredients, right? So to make anything at scale, you need to bulk buy a lot of the sort of pea proteins and the brown rice proteins at a manufacturer's site. So we did that to create enough product, and so we then set about going into a research and development phase to find a way to make it much more cost effective for people, so that they could actually use the product on a regular basis. So now we retail it for about £2.12 per meal, per scoop, which is about 60-70 pounds for a bag, which lasts a couple of weeks.
Okay, that's good. All right. So going back to these different kind of blood types, are there like 7 or like a set amount of? What I'm asking there is that I heard one time that there's 7 different kind of blood types or something like that out there. Is there something like that when it comes to your research for working out these?
Yeah, no, I know where you're going with it. So, firstly, we look at genetics. So it's not blood. So it's a cheek swab.
Okay.
It's a little inside of the mouth cotton bud, and that goes off to our lab. We look at the genes. So you can extract the same information from blood in terms of genetics, but we don't use blood at the moment. A big part of what we did to make the product scalable was actually looking at the different groupings and the correlations between genetic variants to understand where similarities lie. So there are billions and billions. In fact, with all the genes we look at and all the variations possible, I think it's something like 2.7 trillion different combinations of DNA outputs that we could have. So you have to do some work to bucket together and group together different variables so that you can create economies of scale in your product, and you don't have to create 2.7 trillion different variants of a product. So we have it a lot less than that, but it fulfills an individual's needs sort of 95%, which is substantially better than what than what you would get, for example, from an off-the-shelf product.
How long has your company been around?
About 3 years.
Okay.
We raised a little bit of investment through crowdfunding to get the idea off the ground. My dear mother invested, which was very kind of her.
Well done, Mum.
We also actually were on Dragon's Den, so
Okay.
we got offers from a couple of the dragons on Dragon's Den, which was great.
And you took them up on it?
Yeah, we took the offers in the Den. We didn't close the deal in the end. Afterwards, we decided it wasn't in the best interests of the shareholders and the management team to actually close the deal. But we won the offers on the Den, which was a fantastic experience. Lots of fun Q&Aing with the dragons. I very much enjoyed the pitch.
Well, I got 2 questions for you. What have you learned about the industry and starting this new business that you wish you knew when you started? And what would be your advice to someone who's going on Dragon's Den?
What have I learned about the industry? Well, a huge amount. I spent my career in marketing strategy and strategic consulting in the healthcare industry for Fortune 250 companies, helping them take brands from early stage assets through to commercialization across Europe and the US. And I thought, as part of that, I worked on a wide variety of projects and brands and countries, and I got a vast array of exposure to different skill sets and learned a lot of skills to start a business. Yet I went into this industry knowing very little about knowing enough about nutrition and a little bit about genetics, but very little about e-commerce, so I would have loved to have known a bit more about e-commerce and digital marketing coming into this, and some of the complexities involved with it all. So that was a steep learning curve, and the advice that I would give to anyone going on Dragon's Den, well, yeah, is know your pitch, rehearse your pitch. I rehearsed my pitch for 4 hours on the drive up from London to Manchester, where they did the studio filming, and by the time I arrived in Manchester, I could recite my entire 3 minutes word for word, so I felt very confident going into the den with what I was going to say. And I would also say that you would never try and pull the wool over their eyes, because they'll see through it. And so you go in there and just be honest about where you are, and they'll treat you very well. You know, they treated me very well. We had a great conversation. We had lots of back and forth. It was a lot of fun. Know your numbers, obviously, and be prepared to negotiate.
Okay. Now, is this food, this shake, is it a substitute meal? Is it a weight loss meal?
So you can take it as a supplement or a meal substitute. So we have, many of our customers take it as a breakfast replacement, for example, and it's very great. It's great for helping reduce weight. It's very healthy because it's very high concentration of nutrients. It's vegan friendly ingredients, pea protein, brown rice protein, so it's very friendly on the gut, which is like a lot of whey-based meal replacement shakes haven't been in the past. So we have a lot of customers using NGX for weight loss, but we also have a lot of customers using it to build muscle, improve endurance performance as well, and also actually increasingly longevity, so healthy aging, as the body starts to, I'm sorry to say, physically decline from the age of 30, physical and cognitive decline from the age of 30. I myself feel like I'm dropping off a cliff after 35. Okay. But nutrition is actually very, very critical for reducing the rate of decline and actually, managing that process and maintaining a healthy brain and healthy mind and healthy body. Yeah. And it becomes increasingly important the older you get.
Okay. Well, what's the future hold for you?
Well, if I could tell you exactly what the future held,
You'd have another business.
I'd have another business, and I would probably be already sitting on top of a big pile of cash. But no, we're launching in the US later this year, as well as Europe.
Where can your products be found?
Online, so just Google NGX or www.nutri-genetics.com and you'll find us.
Okay, and our last question to Mum.
Oh, yes.
Did you have to do a lot of convincing for you to invest?
No.
Because they're smiling. He's just smiling. Okay then.
No, not really. I mean, obviously it had to make sense to me, and it had to be something that I thought might succeed. So yes, from that point, I was happy to invest. And I'm hoping I'm getting millions back. I mean, that's what I think.
Okay, well, thanks a lot for that, and we wish you well.
Thank you very much.
We hope that episode enhanced your life. We post an interview every day, as well as vlogging on our social media channels. Don't forget to subscribe to get our latest episode.